everyone, and welcome to the continuation of our Principle of Management series. I am Dr. Lala Rukh Shabir from Southern Business School, University of Southern Punjab, Multan. In the previous lecture, we covered the basics of management or the basic principles of management, different management levels and functions of management. In today's lecture, we will shift our focus to the roles of management and skills that manager needs to succeed. In today's lecture, we will explore the key managerial roles and the essential skills required to perform these roles effectively. So let's dive into the world of managerial roles and skills and understand what it takes to be a successful manager. Managerial roles by Mintzberg. Henry Mintzberg is a management scholar and observed real managers in action and found that their job is more dynamic and less structured than people think. He basically grouped 10 roles into 3 categories. First category is interpersonal role, the second is informational, and the third one is decisional roles. Let's talk about each one by one. Number 1 role is interpersonal roles. It's about how managers interact with others. These roles involve dealing with people both inside and outside the organization. Interpersonal role can be a role of figurehead. A figurehead role is a symbolic and ceremonial role. For example, the manager performs duties that are more social or legal than managerial. For example, a college principal inaugurating a new lab or attending a student sport function, that role is ceremonial. That role is a role of a figurehead. Similarly, manager perform a role of a leader as well. As we already discussed in the previous lectures, as manager is someone who leads, who motivates, who guides employees, build teamwork and resolve internal conflicts among members. So manager is a leader as well. For example, a sales manager motivates his team to exceed monthly targets by offering them incentives or personal encouragement. So what is he doing? So he is performing a role of a leader. Here manager is performing the role of a leader. Similarly, manager create liaison or network with others. He maintains a network of contacts outside the organization. And it's very important to create a liaison. For example, a hospital administrator coordinating with the pharmaceutical suppliers or a government officials in order to create a liaison with them so that organizational goals can be achieved efficiently and effectively. So this is the first category. These are the roles which are interpersonal roles which are performed by the managers. The second category which was identified by Mintzberg is informational roles. Informational roles means how managers process and share information. Managers are constantly gathering and distributing data in order to make perfect decisions. So here in informational roles, manager act as a monitor who seeks and receives internal and external information to understand the organization and environment. Until and unless he don't know about organization and environment, he is not able to take corrective decisions. For example, a marketing manager reading a market research report or attending any industry seminar so that they get appropriate information for decision making. So, manager is performing a role of a monitor who monitor all the things inside the organization and outside the organization, the environmental factors. Similarly, manager acts as a disseminator. Disseminator means who shares relevant information with team members and subordinates. And this is very important. For example, a departmental head briefing employees about new university policy so that everyone knew about new policies and manages his work or her work accordingly. So, manager is performing a role of a disseminator as well. And the third role manager is performing in informational role is a role of a spokesperson. He represents the organization to outsiders by giving speeches, attending press conferences, or talking to stakeholders. For example, a company CEO addressing shareholders at the annual meeting or talking to media during the crisis. This is very important. Last category which was identified by Mintzberg are the decisional roles, how managers make decisions. These roles involve using information gathered to make informed decisions and implement strategies. Here, manager is performing the role of entrepreneur, initiates new ideas, innovation and improvements. For example, a university dean launching an online learning platform in response to digital trend. That is a new initiative taken by a principal. So, he as a principal acting as an entrepreneur who initiate new idea according to the environmental needs. A manager can also be a disturbance handler. He manages unexpected problems or crises. For example, a restaurant manager responding to a customer complaint about food poisoning. So, he need to address that issue. Here, he is performing a role of a disturbance handler. And lastly, resource allocator decides where resources, any type of resources, your time, your money, your effort, your staff are best applied. For example, a school principal allocating funds between library expansion and sports equipment. So, he is managing all these things. Then comes a role of negotiator. Manager can be a negotiator as well. He participates in negotiations, negotiation activities with other organizations or within the team. Again, the example is if an HR manager negotiating a salary package with a job candidate or a union. So, he is negotiating with other person, he is performing a role of a negotiator. So, all these three roles are very important, which are presented or given by Henry Mintzberg. So, the next part is skills manager needs. What type of skills are important for managers to have? There are three essential skills that managers need, originally proposed by Robert Katz. According to Robert Katz, there are three different types of skills that are required by managers. Number one are the technical skills. What are technical skills? Technical skills are all about knowing how to do the job, how to perform the job. It involves understanding and proficiency in specific tasks, methods, operations or techniques. And these type of technical skills are most importantly required by first line managers. As we previously discussed in the last lecture, who are first line managers, who are managing day-to-day routine activities. For example, a software team leader must itself know coding, or a production supervisor must understand machine operations. If he didn't have that technical skill, how he can guide their subordinates? The second type of skill are the human skills, which we also call interpersonal skills. These are all about working with people, ability to work well with others, communicate with others, resolve conflicts, and motivate and push others. And human skills are very crucial for all the levels of management. For example, a manager giving a constructive feedback or resolving any type of a conflict between the team members calmly, this requires human skills, emotional intelligence, empathy, listening, social awareness. All these make human skills even more stronger. And the last type of skills that are required by the managers are conceptual skills. Conceptual skills are about seeing the big picture, ability to see the organization as a whole, understand relationship between parts, and make strategic decisions. And these type of conceptual skills are most important for top level managers, who are the CEOs. A CEO is a person who analyzes global trends to decide if a company should enter into a new international market or not. So conceptual skills are mostly required by the top level of management, which are the CEOs or the directors of the organizations. So today we discussed about the managerial roles and skills required by the managers. Let's quickly recap. The managerial roles like interpersonal, informational and decisional roles are very important to understand for the managers, and managers need technical, human and conceptual skills in order to plan for the organization and achieving goals and objectives for the organization. So that's all about our chapter number 1, which are about the principles or the basics of management. Inshallah, in the next lecture, we will dive into the evolution of management thoughts. Until then, observe how managers around you functions, and who knows, you might already be one. Thank you.